I'm Justice Hatcher, the President of the Fair Work Commission. The last 18 months have seen a significant expansion of the Commission's functions by legislative amendment. New functions have been conferred on the Commission, including amendments concerning regulated workers. The majority of the amendments are targeted at independent contractors who are either employee-like workers performing digital platform work or engaged in the road transport industry. These provisions commence on a day fixed by proclamation or 26 August 2024. The amendments are significant for the workers and workplaces to be regulated from commencement, as well as for the functions of the Commission. For this reason, we are undertaking extensive consultation with impacted members of the community and the Commission's existing and new stakeholder groups. Our strong operational performance puts us in a solid position to implement the changes. The Commission remains steadfast in its commitment to implementing the changes in an open and transparent way and with the needs of our users at the heart of the design of our services.
I am Vice President Asbury, the National Practice Lead for Regulated Workers at the Fair Work Commission. Working with me to implement this important new function for the Commission are Commissioner Tran, Deputy Practice Lead for the Gig Economy, and Commissioner Connolly, Deputy Practice Lead for Road Transport. The Commission is Australia's national workplace relations tribunal, and since 1904 we have been resolving workplace disputes and setting minimum standards for work. This video summarises functions the Commission will soon have for eligible participants in the gig economy and road transport industry. For more information and to receive updates about how we are implementing these new functions, please visit the Fair Work Commission's website. There you will find information about the new functions and links to join the user group we have established to consult with affected workers and businesses. These new functions were introduced into the Fair Work Act by laws passed by Parliament on 26 February this year. They will commence on 26 August 2024 or an earlier date if proclaimed. Our focus today is on the Commission's new functions to set minimum standards for workers in the gig economy and road transport industry and to make road transport contractual chain orders. Two types of workers are covered by the new laws. They are employee-like workers and regulated road transport contractors. The new laws describe these workers as regulated workers. Both types of regulated worker have the following characteristics. They are a party to a services contract by a variety of means, as an individual or via a range of business structures, other than as a principal. The contract must have a constitutional connection. Usually that means that one of the parties is a company. They perform all or a significant majority of work under the services contract, and they do not perform any work under the services contract as an employee. There are additional requirements that must be met for a person to be an employee-like worker or regulated road transport contractor. Employee-like workers are independent contractors who work on a digital platform and have at least two of the following characteristics: low bargaining power, remuneration at or below that received by an employee for comparable work, a low degree of authority over the performance of work, and such other characteristics as prescribed by regulation, and no regulations have been made as yet. Regulated road transport contractors are independent contractors who perform work in the road transport industry and are not an employee-like worker. A subcategory of regulated worker, road transport employee-like worker, is an employee-like worker who works in the road transport industry. Regulated businesses are the operators of digital platforms which enable work by employee-like workers and the businesses that receive the services of regulated road transport contractors.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Tran, the Commission's Deputy Practice Lead for the gig economy. I'm going to talk about the types of minimum standards orders and the steps the Commission must follow to make an order. When the new laws commence, the Commission will be able to set minimum standards for employee-like workers and regulated road transport contractors. This slide shows the types of minimum standards that may be made for the different types of regulated worker. They are employee-like minimum standards orders and road transport minimum standards orders. In addition to minimum standards orders, the Commission will also be able to make minimum standards guidelines, which are not legally binding. The slide also mentions road transport contractual chain orders, which Commissioner Connolly will discuss later in this video. The Commission will also be able to vary or revoke orders or guidelines. The Commission can make a minimum standards order on its own initiative or after an application by an organisation entitled to represent the industrial interests of regulated workers or regulated businesses that would be covered by the order, a regulated business that would be covered by the order, or by the Minister. The Commission will be required to take into account a new minimum standards objective, along with a number of other matters, in deciding whether to make a minimum standards order. We will also be required to undertake an extensive consultation process before deciding whether to make an order. This will include ensuring we have genuinely engaged with parties that would be covered by the order, publishing a notice of intent and draft order, and providing a reasonable opportunity for interested parties to make written submissions on the draft order. If the Commission decides to make a substantial change to a draft order, it must conduct a fresh consultation process on the new draft.
Hello, I'm Commissioner Connolly, the Commission's Deputy Practice Lead for the road transport industry. I'm going to discuss some of the income requirements and processes that are specific to the road transport industry. I'll also touch on what will be able to be included in the minimum standards orders. Starting with the road transport industry. An important change will be the introduction of a new road transport objective, which the Commission will consider alongside the minimum standards objective when considering road transport matters. In addition, when making a road transport minimum standards or road transport contractual chain order, orders must be made by the expert panel for the road transport industry. A new industry consultation body, the Road Transport Advisory Group, must be consulted before orders can be made. And there must be at least 12 months or 6 months in urgent circumstances between the publication of a draft order and any final order commencing. At the beginning of this video, we noted that the Commission will have the functions of making road transport contractual chain orders and guidelines. Often, in the road transport industry, there are one or more subcontracting arrangements that sit between the business that make the initial contract for road transport work and the driver who performs the work. In broad terms, these new orders or guidelines set standards for the participants in these road transport contract chains. The Commission will publish a further video providing more detail on the functions and arrangements that will apply for the road transport industry. I will now talk through what can be included in minimum standards orders under the new laws. Minimum standards orders may contain terms about payment, consultation, insurance, representation, and delegates' rights, among other things. They must contain terms setting out the coverage of the order and a term about settling disputes. They must not include terms about overtime rates, rostering arrangements, terms that would change the form of engagement of a regulated worker covered, and matters relating to work health and safety otherwise comprehensively dealt with by a Commonwealth, state or territory law. Additional content rules for each type of minimum standards order are summarised on this slide. Separate rules will apply in relation to road transport contractual chain orders. This video is intended to provide a summary of the new functions the Commission will have in relation to minimum standards for regulated workers. For more detailed information, please visit the new Regulator Worker Functions page on the Commission's website at www.fwc.gov.au. Links on that website will also allow you to join the Regulator Worker user group and subscribe to the updates. Thank you for taking the time to view this video.